About architecture today. Oh, what's his name? Okay, kasi tama-tama, we're going to build a house and my company needs an architect. Yeah, that gives you an opening. No? Get interviewed. If you have a specialization, you have a higher chance of getting interviewed. Okay, like for example, in my case, I specialize in green architecture. So you get a lot of opportunities to be interviewed for that. Write articles. Join competitions. Yesterday we had a awardee from the maid, si Jason Aban. That guy, actually, because of that award, it probably will jumpstart his career. A architect many years ago who won, I think, first place or in CCP competition, si Ben Salido, that jumpstart his professional practice. Okay, so don't be ashamed and afraid to enter competitions. It could be a shortcut to fame. Get your projects featured. Talk to people. I'm not saying pay people. I mean, you know, when you're in socials, tell them, hey, you know, I did this thing, etc., etc. This was the idea which I put in there, etc. Volunteer and community groups. If you join UAP and hang out at UAP fellowship, you won't get too much clients. But if you join PTAs, if you join alumni associations, not of college, but high school. Kasi college, ganun din yan. Architects lahat yan. High school. Okay? Then, you expand your market. You're getting in touch with different people, di ba? And then, you tell them, I'm an architect. One day, you will have fruits from there. Of course, if you win an award for projects, that's good. Sponsor a prize. Ito. Simple lang to. Kunyari, barangay. Ha? Oh, ano ba tawag dito? Ginawa nyo? Ayun, ginawa niya. Kunyari, ito na you sponsor a prize. No? So for the winning basketball team for this Liga sa summer, we're going to donate something, no? Whatever, no? Basketball. So of course, no? What you tell the barangay captain, etc. Pag sa awarding ceremony, tatawagin kayo. So, that's free advertisement. And now, for the awarding of the gold medal for first prize to the barangay, is this basketball, which is donated by architect so-and-so. Free publicity, di ba? Or, you can donate something. For example, Yolanda, etc., etc. You say, architect so-and-so, nag-donate na ganito. Then, of course, have your picture taken, give you the check, di ba? Siyempre, di ba? I mean, it's legal. There's nothing wrong with that. It gets you extra mileage, di ba? So, that's why I put there, getting noticed. You have to start to stand out and use other possibilities of getting noticed, no? Marketing tools. We already have business cards. I think Jojo mentioned a little some of that. Small brochures, CDs, maybe create a presentation package. Do research on newspapers or magazines. What I mean, if somebody is purchasing a property, is going to build. Try to see if you can connect with that person and offer yourself. Even if you don't know what he's going to do, try to get to know him and let him know that you're an architect. Completed projects are very, very good because people experience it and they always see that you can do such projects. Course web page. But you see, what is in yellow? Past clients. To me, they are the best way to market yourself. A happy, enthusiastic client is the best marketing for you. In some marketing books, they call that testimonials. If somebody can testify that we are completely happy with this guy, ayos na yun. Okay? So, how do you market? And make it simple also. 3 C's. First, determine your client. By the way, that picture is Frank Lloyd Wright being thrown because he designed the falling water. No? There. The comment here is, why? My unborn child could do better. No? So, first, identify who are your possible clients if you want to meet up with them. Second C, try to figure out how you're going to connect with them or contact them. For example, if maybe they belong to their son or daughter is in a certain school, maybe, and it just so happens that your son or daughter, or even your nephew or niece is in that school, may opportunity to somehow hang out in that school. And finally, find out what is your competitive edge. Because what is most boring thing is that you present yourself to the client and say, well, I'm an architect, I can do anything you like. Any architect can do that. But if you say, I am an architect and I specialize in the following things, I can do the following things, then it gives you that competitive edge. marks you out apart from the crowd. The third P is price. You know, this is the part which many younger architects are afraid to get to. Okay, they already get the client, they start talking about the project, mukhang okay naman. And then of course, obviously the client is going to ask, o so magkano? Tatakot tayo magbigay ng presyo dahil if you give a price, we might lose the project. Diba? Takot. So, I will give you something which is not in the book, something which I've learned through experience. Jojo has been around for a long time. But he's younger. I've been around for longer. My firm has been around since 1985. We're a small firm, we're not a big firm. Okay? And this is our bottom line. What we try to do is try to equate how much do we need to operate per hour. Para mga doktor. So, our price is not guesswork. As long as we know that for this project, we're going to need so much, then we know how low we can go for our pricing. So if you want, in a simple word, simple formula, it's this, no? Your cost per hour, if you're still new, you don't have statistics yet or data, 2 times your month salary divided by the number of working hours per year. Okay, that will give you pesos per hour. Okay, if you want it more complicated, picture, yeah. Let's say assume you make 20,000 a year, quote unquote salary, because that's how much you need to live. Maybe you're still living with your parents. So cost per year is 20,000 times 12, that's 240,000. Multiply it by 2 to get your overhead, so that's 480,000. And the number of hours per year is 260 days times 8 hours a day, that's 2,080 hours. So your cost per hour is 480 divided by 2,000, that's 230 pesos per hour. Do it. Just put in the factors you think. How much do you need to spend per month to survive? Put it there. Because then at least you have a base figure. You're working on something which is actually realistic to you. Of course, you can change that as you go through life. Maybe at a certain point, you need more to survive. Then you adjust it. But at least at every given point, you should know, magkano ba kailangan ko mag-survive every single hour so that I can actually make up for what I need to live. No? If you want to go to the business side of it, ito, no? So if you want to compute the cost per hour per person, it's there, no? It's the salaries of the staff per year plus the overhead cost per year divided by the number of working hours per year times the number of technical staff. Okay? Forget it. I'll just give you an example. Ano lang. Let's assume you have 3 people in your office. Small office ka, di ba? One staff earns 20,000, that's maybe you. Another 15, another 10. That's 45,000 a year. Salaries per year, 45,000 times 13 months. You have to pay 13 months later. So times 13 months, 585,000. If you don't have data, just multiply it by 2. That will give you more or less a base figure what your overhead. Overhead is electricity, water, miscellaneous things. No? And then remember earlier we talked about 2,000 hours per year. And you have 3 staff. So that's a total of 6,240 hours per year. So your average cost is 1.1 million divided by 6,200 hours. That's 188, or you can say roughly 200 pesos per hour. So already, you know, in your small firm, every time somebody works for an hour, you need 200 pesos to be able to just break even. Okay? This is important data so that wala nang hula-hula yung I'm charging so many percent. And then the client starts negotiating it down. And you don't know anymore how low is low. Diba? And then after you start calculating it, lugi pala kayo. Okay? So, start the other way around. Know what is your... Of course, you don't tell the client how much this is. That's internal sa inyo yan. But at least alam mo yung cut-off level mo. Beyond that, sir, di kaya. Bigyan mo sa ibang arkitekto na lang. Kasi hindi talaga pwede to. Remember, we are in business. We are supposed to make money. Many of the young people I was telling them, they were asking me, sir, what's better? The business of architecture or architects give back to society or the nation? I said, if you're young, you come here, make money first. Then, when you get older, you give back to society. At least you made money na, diba? So those are here, you still have to make money, I'm sure. No? Okay, how do you control your project costs and time? It's an interesting formula which I have. No? Net project fee equals project fee less your desired profit. Total man hours of the project equals the net project fee divided by the man hour rate. And then these are the man hours based on our UAP documents. Schematic design 15%, design development 20%, working drawings 50%, construction 50%. Of course, you do not understand that, so I'll give you an example. Assume that you have a 100 square meter house at maybe 1.5 billion your cost, and you say you charge 10%, so it's 150,000 for that house. You want a desired profit of 30,000. Kunyari lang. So that's 150,000 minus 30,000, tabi mo yung 30,000. That means your net project fee is 120,000. Correct? You talk with the engineers. Palapsa mo sila. Okay. So the engineers say, okay, 20,000 all in, structural, electrical, sanitary. So, 100,000 na lang ang net architectural fee nyo. Divided by 100,000 divided by 200 pesos per hour, 500 hours lang ang pwede nyo gawin yung project. You go beyond that, nalulugi na naman kayo. You go below that, eh, siyempre may profit. You can even break it down further. Remember, schematic design 15%, design development, divide 500 hours by 50%. Dapat yung schematic design nyo, 75 hours lang. In our office, we keep track of the hours of people working for the project. That's how to control. And that's how to be profitable. Diba? Design development, 20% of 500 hours, 100 hours. Contract documents, 250 hours. Construction, 75 hours. So in other words, now, the moment you get your base fee of an hourly rate, then now we're talking business. We're not getting our cost from the air and saying, this is our charge. And our client says, how do you get that? Kasulat sa documents namin. Sino nagsulat ng documents yan? Yan. Si Mike Guerrero po. Tawagan mo nga, bakit ganito yun? Hindi ko rin masagot eh. Okay, so, at least have an idea of what is your base rate. That's hourly rate. Okay, so in essence, it's equating time to money and then back to time, which becomes your controlling factor. So if you know, if you're going beyond a certain time in your project, nalulugi ka. If you're going under, you're making money. Methods of determining fees. Remember, everybody's afraid to give out your fees away right away. Fixed fee. AIA survey ko, no? 32% of all the architects in the US still use fixed fee. Man-hour rate, 28%. See, if you know your man-hour rate, multiply it by your profit margin, that becomes effectively your man-hour rate, which you can charge to the client. Okay, we are going to charge you so many pesos per man-hour. Percentage is only 19%. Then cost plus, 50%. Fee per square meter, 4%, and others. No? I actually tried in 2 projects the fee per square meter. Ngayon lang, kung gano'n kaling yung project, for every square meter, you charge it. Of course, I basically see that percentage, broke it down to a cost per square meter, and that was how I charge the client. Negotiation, another thing we worry about. No? How do we talk to the client and get our fees? 3 phases. No? Preparing your negotiation, conducting the negotiation, closing negotiation. Architects should never be worried about negotiation because negotiation, which is an agreement of diverse needs and views, is actually a fundamental design skill. We are actually designing the different features, trying to put them in the best spot because every facility wants to be in the best spot, and we have to negotiate internally with all of those facilities. So preparing, 3 points. Define your objectives, assess the other party, choosing your strategy. For example, now you're going to negotiate your fee. Okay, so what is your objective? I want to get 8% for this project. Assess the other party. Check around. Google search, internet. This guy is always going to make barat. So, okay, choosing a strategy. I will start at 10%. Kasi alam mo, 8% ang target ko. Let's start. Kasi you already define your strategy. Okay, now you're in front of the client. So, first, you put forward your proposal. And you can state your position. Okay, for what we have discussed in our previous meetings and this project, etc., we are going to charge you 10%. Automatically, the client, most clients will say, mahal! Diba? Usually, yun ang unang reaction palagi, no? Okay. And you start bargaining, no? Okay, o sige, bawasan natin to. Gusto nyo, kayo nang bahala sa engineer. Baka may kilala kayo ganyan, etc. So you start negotiating. But the most important thing, always write down what you agree upon, because the client is not going to write it down. You better be the one to sort of keep on noting down what you're agreeing upon. And always summarize, sum up. So, Mr. Client, okay, ito na ng agreement natin, no? Ito. Okay? And then, finally, closing negotiation. Dapat masaya yung kliyente. Okay, win-win, no? Kasi at the end of the negotiation, maybe because of your personality, you got your way, the client is not happy, the project is not going to go too well. Okay, so make sure that the client actually ends up happy. Both should be winners. So at the end of the project, dapat ganito, no? Builder, QS, everybody should be happy. Okay, so take up na. What are the issues? Marketing. Can we market? Yes, but okay. Use paid advertisement. You cannot make false claims. But you can use other mediums. Talking, lectures, like I said, donating a basketball, etc. No? And then fees. Okay, whether or not there will be actually fees in the Philippines, it should be standardized. As long as you know your base rate, that's at least will work how you're going to work out your profitability. Okay, know your base rate. Second is 3 P's, no? Professional, okay? Market yourself, specialize, and flash that specialization. That's your brand. Second, integrity. Your name is you. You are the professional. It's all integrated, it's all linked. So never ever stain your name, because that is you. That is your practice. If you damage it, like I said earlier, either you change your name and then take the board exam again and hope to pass become an architect again, then you have a clean slate, di ba? But if not, sorry na lang, damage your name. And then, communication. We should be able to communicate well, no? You know, with the advent of global practice, that's one of the things which we have to try to improve, you know, communication skills. Lahat tayo dito, mga Pinoy arkitekto, magaling tayo mag-design. That's why I don't even talk about design anymore. What I want all of us to develop is the knack of communication skills, no? Sana wag tayo maubusan ng English pagdating ng mga foreigners dito, di ba? Then process. Okay, identify your client, figure out how to contact them, and then present again what is your competitive edge. That's your brand, that's your image. Then price. Don't be afraid. State your price. Remember, we are business. We are not always pro bono. We have to charge. And therefore, you want to go be an effective charger and not just get the price out of the sky. At least you should know how much do I need to survive per hour so that we can actually deliver the project. And finally, if we are on our own, everything we do is always marketing. We are a PR, it's a PR job, no? I like to say that whenever following the gospel, no? Whenever there are 2 or 3 gathered in my name, that is an opportunity to market. Diba? Ganun yun, diba? Kahit 2 tao dyan, di sabihin mo, architect ako ha. Anong ginawa ng arkitekto? Ito. Patay mo. Always learn from it. So, again, that is interesting. Now, to recap, what are marketing goals? Again, see that guy in red? Recognition. First R. These are 2 R's. Pati din ang lecture ko, just remember, 2 R's. First goal of marketing is recognition. People should know that you are an architect and you specialize in this particular type of building or whatever. The second R is relationship. Yes, they know an architect, but you better start touching base with them so that they can start communication, two-way communication. Okay, so that's what you have to do. We've been talking about the architects. Now let me give you 4 A's from the client's point of view. What is a client looking for? Number 1, lipat mo na ako dito. Nag-stick-tech yung mga tao dito. What does the client need and look for an architect? Number 1, availability. Pag hindi kayo available, wala na kayong project. So the client needs the first A, architect has to be available. Second, affable. Sa Tagalog, madaling kausapin. Diba? A client will be happy if madali lang kausapin yung architect. No? It's not like a nosebleed type of architect who talks about something so highfalutin that they don't understand. No? The third A is ability. Siyempre, kailangan magaling din tayo. And you know, that is something which we have. We have to perfect our core competency. We are architects. that basic design service, we should master that. And this is not a political speech kasi tapos na yung election. No? My feeling is that if we are experts in our core competency and we deliver service more than what people expect, we will not have a problem of developing our image in the public. The public will be the one to choose the architects because they experience what the architects are doing in the built environment. And the last one, of course, is affordability. You hardly will bump into a client who say, sky is the limit. Palaging affordable. So if you are actually able to address these 4 A's of the client side, availability, affability, ability, and affordability, you've gotten the requirements of the client. Then, you're in the process of actually doing a good job. But you know, I can summarize this whole talk into one word. Enthusiasm. Because you mentioned earlier, the client is basing everything on trust. They're giving us money and we haven't delivered our service yet. Kawawa sila, nakalabas na sila, tayo wala pa. So you need to be enthusiastic para mahawa din yung kliyente para yung maging enthusiastic sa project. You have to be loving that project, no? And enthusiasm is gotten or promoted or driven by patience. There are ups and downs in your life, there are ups and downs in the client's life. So enthusiasm must still be there with patience, with perseverance. Keep at it. And finally, with passion. That is what is driving us all to be in architecture. If you have survived 5 years of architecture of not sleeping, if you have survived 2 years of apprenticeship, if you have survived the thesis, and you have survived the board exam, then you are driven by passion. And because of that, I'm sure, if you remember these simple things, you're going to be able to deliver marketing in a very, very simple way. And if we market ourselves well, and we do our projects well, the public in general will actually accept the fact that it is true that it is more fun if the architects do projects in the Philippines. Thank you.